All right, here's my update for today, February 20th. So it's been a little bit since I made a devlog, dev diary. So what have I not told you guys since the last one? I think these billboards are new, so you guys didn't see these billboards yet. I added these billboards. I added the Big Mac. I added voice actors and voice acting and subtitles. I don't think you guys have seen that yet, but those were all quite a bit to do. Um, oh yeah, you guys can't hear it. Let me turn it back up. There's sound effects and music too, like ambient sounds, music. They're all based on triggers all around the map. So you could hear crows. You won't hear any right now. Like leaves rustling, footsteps. Those are all added. Let me show you guys the subtitles and the voice acting. So we got subtitles on the top right, and then we've got some voice actors, AI generated voice acting, which is okay. The model I was using was okay, but I'm limited by my hardware. I'm thinking of changing it, but it's like a 1 in 10 chance of getting a good output out of it. But yeah. Okay, let me turn that down. You probably can't hear anything. But yeah, the voice acting is kind of a hit or miss because it's all AI generated, and sometimes it hallucinates some details, sometimes it misspeaks or doesn't sound so clear. But I also did the subtitles for that reason. It makes it so much easier. And then the thing that I've been putting off for a long time that I finally managed to do today. Well, it took like half of yesterday and pretty much all of today to do, was linking up the functional inventory system with the in-house Kafka Effect inventory system, or the user interface that of the Kafka Effect um, assets, right? So we already have a fully functional inventory system that's based on the Visual Sandbox template, and it's pretty in depth. It's super in depth. It's super complex, and it's good too because it has like a lot of room to grow with us. Um, so, for example, there's a crafting system. You can't see it right now actually because I don't have anything on, but there's also a things have a value like so there's like a trading system. Like let me teleport to the thing. Hold on, where is it? Okay, yeah, let me go over here and show you what I mean. This is the little test world. Uh, it'll be easier to show you what I mean here. But there's a crafting system, there's a inventory system. Let's see how this looks. Okay, yeah. So if I just pick all this stuff up, we already have a crafting system. Things already have yeah, you can just drag things out to drop them. Things already have a value. Oh, I forgot I hid that. But things have a value. There's you could craft things right here. There's a pipe bomb we craft. Um, and then we also have the Kafka Effect submenus here. So the visual sandbox menu is functional, but you're limited to just this, and you can't really do much with it. And the Kafka Effect has its own visual language, right? It has its own style and stuff like that. But what I needed to do was be able to merge both of them, and you can't change the visual sandbox template because it's hard coded into itself, and you need to make a child of it or a parent of it. So because we have two of them, two inventory systems, I made a parent of it, and then I had to overwrite um, the interactions with it. So every time you spawn it or you bring up the menu, I had to rewrite where it was pointing to in order to point to the parent that I made that is like the umbrella of the Kafka Effect and the Visual Sandbox inventory system so that they come together. And that took forever. That took so long and there was so many bugs. But I got it to work. And now we have a main menu, like like an actual main menu. Right. So there's only 3 buttons. Don't worry about the names. The names aren't, these are just placeholders. But now each submenu shows us a different thing. So there'll be one for the inventory system, which will look something more like this will have like character selections, and each one will, they'll have like different uh equipment slots and stuff, just basically stuff like tools, gadgets, enchantments and stuff like that. And then you'll have a normal inventory system, which will have, like, we could move these to wherever we want. We change the size, change everything about it now. Now that I've made a parent of it, I could just change everything about it, uh, and then redesign it and basically put our own skin on it. The Kafka Effect made like in-house skin on it. Um, and so that this really opens up a whole new set of like a whole new door for us. And then we'll have tons of other stuff, quests, like we'll have the quest buttons. It'll have a list of quests and tracking them. We'll have rewards, online play, friends list. This will all be here in the main menu. And this brings me to my next point, which is a main settings menu, right? So it'll have like volume settings and all kinds of other settings. Sorry, that's probably really loud. But it'll have yeah, so you could actually expand your inventory slots too. That's pretty cool. But anyways, the next big step that I want to do is create like graphic settings and just like general settings. I'll make like I'll design my own pages, or we'll figure out how to design our own uh inventory pages and all these pages, and they'll have to be modular. This brings me the graphic settings and the UI bring me to the next point, which is um, outputting this into different platforms, right? Because right now this can only be used on PC. You can't. I don't think you could make it. Yeah. So I haven't tried baking everything and cooking it to a playable demo on anything other than Windows. So Mac, Linux, iOS, Android. I don't know if any of these will work at all, and even if they do work, I need to completely overhaul the graphic settings, right? Because you're not playing on like a super powerful gaming PC. You'll need to be able to change the settings to fit your device's capabilities, right? So I'll make some settings that like disable or like turn up and down the foliage, turn up and down the render distance, particle settings, ray tracing, everything, so that people can run it on their phone, or if they have like a crazy ass gaming PC, they could run it like on that, and they'll still both look good. Obviously, I'll have to make a bunch of optimizations too. I've been keeping an eye on the optimizations this whole time, like stuff like voxel count, entity count. I mean, I think there's something like 4 or 5 million individual pieces of grass um, around this whole map. So it is very demanding, right? It's super demanding. So I'll need to make sure to find the right balance between it looking good and it running well. Especially if we're gonna ship this on mobile, because mobile it's not nearly as powerful as like PC. Same with like Android, iOS. Like uh, it's all a big balance. That also brings me to this thing. So the whole map, this whole entire map is just one level, right? And I want to keep it that way, or at least like different server instances, right? Will be just one level, and that'll make the performance a lot better. We might have separate levels for hubs, like big communal areas will have separate levels, but like the main open world will be one level. And so like when you go inside of this room, you're actually going under the map. So there's no loading screen. It's just an instant teleportation below the map. There are cons to this too, but generally when you're doing like rooms like this, it's perfectly beneficial to just teleport, right? If you're having like a big uh like a giant, area, you don't want to teleport that. Or if you do, it has to be kind of far away, and then you're still loading things anyway. So you might as well have a separate level. But yeah, so I have two rooms. They're identical except for like one has a character, the other one doesn't. So this is what spawns when you go in the first time, and then when you come back to talk to her again, this is what spawns, like because she's already gone. And that's about it. I don't know if I I've already showed you guys the cards, I think, in my last dev diary. But I think that's yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's up to date for right now. Just doing a lot of back end stuff. Um, Another big thing I had to like another big issue I had to run into with the inventory system is that because it's an MMO, it's all using a net code. So everything that gets updated in your inventory gets verified to the game servers, right? I mean, right now, obviously, pre-launch the net coding stuff will be disabled because it will be standalone, so you could play it offline, right? It won't be a live service. Uh, the netcode is won't be hot, right? I think that's what they call it. But on final launch, all the netcode stuff will be turned on, and so there'll be verification for all things like transactions, swapping things in your trading, player trading. That's another one of these things. Another menu thing that I'll have is player trading, which will also have like buying things from the store, microtransactions. But player to player trading will be a huge thing that'll be on this main menu. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end it for now. Just but making good progress. I know the inventory system doesn't look too pretty right now, but it is getting there. It's just some uh, basically just some example overlays right now. But we'll make fully modular ones. Oh yeah. So the reason that it needs to be modular and the reason I'm doing this too is it needs to change with aspect ratio because like right now, so most people who play on PC play like this, like play 16 by 9, right? So when you have the UI modular, it'll stretch with your aspect ratio. And if you're playing on like iPad, you're playing on 4 by 3, and you see how this is stretched, right? But like if you have it modular like this, it won't be stretched. So and then some crazy people, they play like uh well, I guess I can't really show you, but they play like 21 by 9 or even 32 by 9, and it's like that's crazy. Uh, Ultra widescreen and ultra widescreen. But that's my progress for right now. I'm gonna start having to think about how we're gonna ship this on. I'm gonna have to start thinking about how I'm gonna ship this on Android, iOS, Linux, because if I remember correctly, these will take a lot of trial and error to do. Each time you cook it and package the project, it takes like half an hour to package it, just on Windows. But compressing it down and optimizing everything will take some time. But we won't even have to think about that until way further down the line, I think. Uh, that's basically like near the end of development. So, but it's something that you should keep in mind at this stage of development. So, like, it doesn't become totally impossible later down. But yeah, that's my update for today. Cheers. Yeah, that's it.